that people can actually attend them.
Yeah.
In Hartford, traditionally, SeaTac's involved, and they traditionally, I think, gather on the steps of the Capitol, have a little vigil, and then march over to the MCC Church for refreshments.
But there are going to be several events. Certainly, the Hartford one is probably the best for around here. But if anybody that's interested, just go to the TDOR website, TDOR, and you can get all the information for all the events around.
TDOR.org.
It's if you.
I think
it's actually, if you just Google TDOR, and you'll come up with the first thing that comes up is their website, which is transgender. It's transgenderdayofremembrance.org, I think, but if just put in TDOR in the Google, you'll get it.
Good.
And
good.
Yeah.
Super. We have another phone call.
Cool.
Good evening. Thanks for calling the People's Forum. How are you?
Hi. Good evening. I wanted to ask Kelly, what's the difference between a transgender and a transvestite?
Well, transvestite is something that's very specific, and that's a term that's sort of going out of favor now. There's been a lot of confusion with transvestite and crossdresser. Transvestite is to my understanding, is sort of the same thing as crossdresser, except that it has a bit of a fetishistic component to it. But transvestite is generally somebody that dresses. Generally, it would be a man that dresses in women's clothing. Which.
You mind if I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
When you were young, is it because you were a male, right?
When I was young, yes, I was.
That be because you had changed to a female? Is it because you always wanted to be a female?
It's not so much a matter of want as it was who I was. I was in a boy body, but I was a girl inside, and it's one of those things. I wanted to be I wanted to change, but. But it goes beyond that. It's more of a need. You reach a point, typically with transsexuals and myself included. You reach a point where you have to do this or die, basically.
Did you ever hear of a femidite, a person that has both organs, a penis and a vagina?
Yeah,
it's common.
That term that you used is actually one that was. Widely popularized by the adult film industry. It is a scientific term as well. There's a whole category of conditions that are referred to as intersex conditions that are both genetic.
Is there something to do with the parents' genes or something?
Right.
Because I have a cousin that's like that.
An intersex condition can either be genetic or it can be phenomenal in the sense that your glands in your brain may not produce the hormones to trigger puberty. Or it can be genetic, where somebody can have a trisoming on their sex chromosome.
Because when I first started watching
or
the show, you girls look great. I never would have believed that you were actually men.
Well,
you do a good job, too. You do a very good job.
That's a compliment.
I'm not prejudiced about anybody because I have a cousin who's homosexual, and I believe people have the right to do what they want to do in this country. So you girls keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks for calling. That was an excellent question.
Yeah, it's probably worth taking a second to note that to sort of directly answer your question, transgender is generally an umbrella term that gets used to, unfortunately, lump everyone together whose gender identity and expression, their outward appearance and behavior, doesn't match up with what society expects of them. There's a lot of subcategories to that, and that's where the terms transvestite, crossdresser, transsexual, which is what we are, intersex sometimes, gender nonconforming. There's a lot of subcategories of that.
Yeah, lots. Yeah. And sometimes they overlap.
True.
So it's like,
and
it gets more complicated every day.
The term hermaphrodite or hermaphroditic has generally been replaced by the term intersex.
Yeah.
Right.
And
it doesn't always mean that you have reproductive organs of both sexes, which is why intersex is much more appropriate. there can be a lot of different developmental issues.
Sure.
Right.
Androgen insensitivity
Gland-
syndrome,
right.
Klinefelter syndrome.
Again, it incorporates
even intersex and
it incorporates a variety of conditions.
Right.
And,
Sure.
And
the interesting thing about this is that it's far more common than I ever believed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It is.
Most of the, even just the intersexed issues are usually, depending on which condition, 1 in 1,000 to 1 in 3,000 births.
That's much more prevalent than I would have imagined.
Yeah. It's surprising.
In the vast majority of cases, it affects sexual development either in utero or at puberty, but not so significantly that anybody would bother being tested and being examined or needing support for it.
Right. So, a lot of people out there that don't even know it.
That don't even know it, sure.
Yeah. Super. I wanted to next turn to the mention of the Transcending Boundaries Conference, which is a conference an annual conference that takes place in Worcester for bisexual or pansexual, trans or genderqueer, intersex and polyamorous people and their allies, I should say, or our allies.
Right.
And Transcending Boundaries is for and about those who do not fit into simple categories. And we couldn't be more excited about the 6th upcoming conference, and which will be November 20th through 22nd at the DCU Center in Worcester. And you can go to transcendingboundaries.org for more information. Registration is open. The keynote speaker will be the fabulous Tristan Taormino, and as well there will be workshops by Robin Oakes, Anita Wagner, Gunnar Scott, and myself. I will be presenting there on my book, Bisexual Perspectives on Kinsey, which is expected out in the trade, the hardcover trade edition any day. I'm waiting for it in the mail.
Good Christmas gift.
That's right.
Yes. Well, yes, I would like to think that people would actually maybe buy a copy, but we'll see. I will actually be doing a couple of readings for my cookbook, Mugs of Joy.
Yeah.
December 5th in the morning at Bean and Leaf at 10 o'clock, and the following week, the 12th, I think it is, on Saturday, also at 10 o'clock at Thames River Greenery. So I never get a chance to really plug my own stuff very much, but
you have your own show.
You have,
yes,
and as well, I have a gig that I am doing tomorrow at Mitchell College.
That's right.
Yes.
So that's
Fairies and Bears.
I will be speaking on fairies and bears, homomasculinity and homofeminism, which will definitely get into some of the gender stuff that both of these communities and identities deal with.
And we have been plugging your appearance there, in fact, and that is open.
At our appearance there.
Yes, we were there last week. That is open to the public, by the way, so that if anybody wants to go to that.
Second floor of the Weller Center.
Second floor of the Weller Center, 6:30 tomorrow, Tuesday, November 17th.
But
and as well, I have an announcement on a lecture on international LGBTQ human rights.
On college.
Con College, and that will be Thursday, November 19th at 4:30 in the Chew Room. And Saturday, November 21st and December 5th, it will be All That Jazz, another Octave women's chorus, and you can find out about them at anotheroctave.org. Wednesday, December 1st is World AIDS Day. And let's see, next week we are having a repeat, and the week following that will be Sandy Brindamore from Alliance for Living. She will be our special guest. And